very avid in it, and then I quickly declined in my participation in Boy Scouts. So my focuses growing up were so healthy, they were so positive. I was a very happy kid. I was always smiling, always outgoing. And this quickly changed when I all started vaping. You know, my perspective on life is so me versus the world. I was so against everything. I remember my mom would come into my room and I'd say, "Get out, this is my room," not knowing that I was not paying the bills. So, my perspective on life had changed rapidly, and it was not going in the right direction. It was going in the wrong direction. If anything, it was going in circles. It got to the point where I was failing school. I wasn't in sports anymore. I wasn't in Boy Scouts. So all those great things to go to college, all those good things to learn, all those good leadership skills I was losing. And that was because of my own decisions. So it went from token to fit in, it went from being codependent on that, and now it went to becoming my identity. Everybody at school knew me as the kid who would jewel. They would call me a fiend, or they would call me the chiefer, because everybody knew if you had your system out, then I'd be using it and that you wouldn't have anything else to use. So in a way, I was a thief. So I also started selling within my school. Everybody knew me as the person to go to. I went from, getting it from a teacher, not teachers, my bad, misspoken, hold on. I got it from older students who were legally able to buy it. Hey, can I get $5? I'll give this to you. Or I'd stand at a tobacco shop, or stand outside a gas station and pay somebody to go and get it. Or I'd simply just walk into a vape shop, or walk into a gas station without being ID'd, which is very sad to have to hear about and definitely have to go through. So, it was so easy access to get all these materials that I was using. It got to the point where I was using about a pack. I don't know if you guys know, but I'm sure you guys do know, one pod is equivalent to 20 cigarettes in terms of nicotine. And it was at the point at my peak where I was using 4 pods a day, so around 80 cigarettes worth of nicotine a day, on top of everybody else's at school, and also other systems that I was using. So my intake of nicotine was so rapid and so high at such a fast rate, it was absurd. In September of 2018, I had a seizure related to vaping. I had no prior experience with seizures. It was my first one, it was my only one. It was 6 minutes long, it was a grand mal seizure, and it happened out of nowhere. I barely remember the day. I just remember waking up, thinking that I was taking a nap in my friend's room, and I woke up, some old guy breaking my finger, and it was an EMS person. I was just so overwhelmed. I had a headache, my vision was blurry, and I didn't know what was going on. But this did not stop me from vaping. This didn't stop me at all. I actually didn't think anything of it. I thought it was just a one-off. I thought, man, this is crazy. Like, okay, I had a seizure, so what? My parents were absolutely deathly afraid, and I'm so sorry, Mom, that I scared you, but it had to happen. But it wasn't until 2 months later in October of 2018 that I went to rehab in California. This is a great inside joke between me and my mom. She told me the night before, you're going to go to California for 8 days. And we're leaving at 3:30 in the morning. I looked at her, I said, no, I'm not. No, that's not gonna happen. I threw a big fit. I was very aggressive at home. I was very violent. I would thrash everything I could find, whether it be the back door being smashed in, a plate to the window, or just anything I could find I would destroy. And I definitely did that night. However, those 8 days quickly became 39 when I was there with all my clothes off after taking a drug test and being patted down in the facility, and they asked, what do you think about being here? And I told him, I'll never forget his name. I can't share it though, but I told him, it's just 8 days. It's not that bad. Like, it sucks, but I'll go through it. He said, oh, okay, so our program is 35 to 45 days, and you can be here for 90. And if you don't want to cooperate, we can go for 6 months to 18 months. Right? That was a very big difference from 8 days. And I will never forget, I went to my mom, and I stood outside the door, and this is my last time seeing her before she left. I sat down and looked at her and said, you lied. Although, yes, it was a very good lie, because I would have never gotten on the plane if I was told I was going away for 39 days. So thank you, Mom, for lying to me. Being in rehab was a huge thing, especially as a teenager. Being a teenager, we are so addicted to our phones and we love our social media, and I am definitely a victim of that. So being away from any contact with the outside world, whether it be family, friends, teachers, anybody, you don't get that good morning, you don't get that good night, you don't have somebody holding the door, you don't have the free will to turn a corner and just take a breather for yourself away from people. You're constantly surrounded by other people who are other addicts, which I'll tell you what, living with 6 boys is not fun. So, or imagine living with 1. Now I had to live with 6. That was absolutely horrible. So, it was very hard to go through that. It was very seldom. To sit in your own skin, not even just as a teenager, but as a human, is something that we really don't like to do. We don't like to be told what we can and can't do. We don't like to be out of control. We do not like to have fears. We have so many fears as humans. We have the fear of the unknown, the fear of missing out. We have the fear of the future. And I had no clue what my future was, and I was absolutely freaking out. Well, it was crazy in there, I'll tell you what. So, being away for 39 days, even while I was in there, it wasn't until around 3 weeks when I really noticed, hey, I have an addiction I really need to stop. Which is kind of absurd to think about after being in a facility for three weeks, 21 days, and you don't even realize you have a problem. That's how absurd it was. I got in there, and I'll never forget, my mom came and visited me for Thanksgiving. And she goes, because you have to have a plan when you get back home. The plan was that I was going to be sober for 2 months, and then I was going to go back to vaping. That was my plan. A plan on paper was I was never going to vape again, but my plan was just 2 months. So, I'll never forget, after having my mom come out and buy me a very nice meal, that probably helped out a little bit too. I sat down and I looked her in the eyes and go, thank you for sending me to rehab. That was absurd. At 15 years old, being thanked to go to rehab. So thank you, Mom. But it was so crazy to think about how my life went 80. I went from being a straight A student, sports player, Boy Scout, failing student, not athletic, not in Boy Scouts. Nothing positive was going on in my life. And then to go to rehab and have a complete 180 switch. Man, I came back home and people thought I was dead. I didn't tell them where I was going at all. So, what I'm trying to get at here is that life can change so fast. It is absolutely insane. It's incredible to think about what a substance such as nicotine can do to you. Nicotine addiction is so overlooked, and a lot of times it doesn't even looked at as a substance abuse issue. It doesn't matter if you're going through an alcohol addiction, an opiate addiction, or a nicotine addiction, it is an addiction. We can all be addicted to our phones. Everybody has an addiction. And when I go and talk to youth and I go and talk to schools, I always like to share that there are so many healthier alternatives. Whether it be food, sports, athleticism, exercise, and I know everybody likes food, so let's emphasize that. Everybody can use food. There's so many things that we can do as people, that we can do as teenagers, that we can do as youth, or just humans in general, that are healthier alternatives than putting a substance in our body. And I think that's something for our call of action, as all of us in this room, that we can all do, is that a lot of times we have these people and they say, well, I'm done, I've quit, now what next? What do I do to replace this? Well, we need to give them the information of what's next. We need to give them those healthier alternatives. We need to let them know what their options are, what are available to them, what are their opportunities. So that's something that I encourage everybody in this room to do, and really a challenge for us all, is how can we educate our peers and how can we educate our youth of what they can do next to be healthy. And that's exactly what I'm here to do. So, you might have heard from my bio that I've gone around and talked to schools, I've talked to big journals, Wall Street Journal, CNN, and all of that is great and all of that is very important, but at the end of the day, what really matters is, yes, the numbers are great, and I'm so bad with numbers, I'm horrible with numbers. I failed math, let's just say that. So, but it's also the personal connections that we have with our youth. I know right now that if I was 15, 16 in high school, as I am, and somebody came in and they were like in their 40s or 50s and they told me, don't smoke, I'd be like, okay, yeah, sure, and then I go to the bathroom and do it. Especially back in the mindset that I was in. So, what I want to say is that we need to have these personal connections. Instead of asking them, why do you do this, ask them, how do you feel? How do you feel when you use this? How do you feel without this? It's those how questions and those whys and whats that are so important to our youth, because it makes them feel like they have a shoulder to lean on. I will never forget that when I was going through addiction, I felt so alone, not only in my own skin, but just I could be in a crowd full of people I didn't feel like